A mountain goat hunt is arguably the most demanding big game hunt in all of North America, and trying to harvest a big billy with a bow is by far the ultimate test. Join your host, Phil Phillips, as he travels to coastal British Columbia on a challenging bow hunt for trophy goats at the top of the world on this week's episode of Phil Phillips Unleashed.
Hunting has always been my way of life. It's my profession, it's my passion. It's what I do best. My life's been captured on film so I could share it with you. I'm Phil Phillips, and this is my story. I hope you'll join me.
I'm a cowboy, I'm a worldwide cowboy, and there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, I said,
Folks, welcome to today's show. Today I'm going to take you back in time to one of my favorite all-time hunts. I'm going to be hunting mountain goats with a bow and arrow with my good friend and outfitter Bob Milligan in the beautiful coastal mountains of British Columbia. So stay right there. The action starts right now.
Phil's journey to mountain goat country began along the western coast of British Columbia on Prince Rupert Island, where he would catch a float plane ride into a high alpine lake deep in the mountains. The flight into camp offered a bird's eye view of the steep terrain Phil would be facing over the next week. This was beautiful, but very rugged country, and it was evident that getting to the goats would be no easy task.
This hunt started with an incredible plane ride. We were in a Turbo Otter. The pilot was awesome. We got to look at goats on the way in. We landed on an alpine lake with an awesome camp set up right on the edge. I knew this was going to be a good trip because we started seeing goats immediately when we got into camp.
After settling into camp, it was time to make the first climb into high country. The guides would split up and take their clients up different routes to the top. They had spotted some goats near the top of the mountain above base camp, and they wanted to get a closer look.
We're way up on the side of the mountain looking for mountain goats, and I'm constantly glassing everywhere, and I glass back down below us, and there's a big, beautiful black bear, probably 6.5 footer, eating blueberries. And he was in a pretty good spot. It looked like we could sneak around and stay on grass and be really quiet and get right on top of him. Well, the first part of the stalk was easy. We pretty well had some evergreens between us and the bear. We made our way around, took our time, really quiet. Once those bears get on the berries, they usually spend a lot of time eating. We got around to where we thought we were in a good spot. We peeked out, the bear's straight down below us, but he's just out of bow range.
Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by Scentlock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, and Mississippi. Find your true south.
Before experiencing it, you won't know dependability. Unless you've drawn it, you haven't felt smooth. Until you shoot it, you've yet to be this accurate. The Matthews Creed. Rethink your possibilities.
Phil Phillips is bow hunting mountain goats in the rugged mountains of coastal British Columbia, and while making his ascent into goat country, he spotted a black bear feeding on blueberries high above the valley floor.
This big black bear was in a perfect spot for a stalk.
With a bear tag in his pocket, Phil takes a break from looking for goats and he attempts a stalk to within bow range of the feeding bear.
But as I eased down the mountain, my heel slipped out from under me, slid all the way down to him, spooked him off the mountain.
Watched him come across 2 ravines. He got in this batch of blueberries, started feeding. And I thought I'd be a lot closer when I got on that little knob. We got all the way over there, and he was a little farther than I wanted to shoot. He was facing the other way feeding, and I thought if I just eased myself down the hill on my butt, real quietly, I'd get 10 yards closer. Well, this stuff's been raining all day, and in these little bit of rain gear I got on, it was like being on a surfboard. I just took off, and the nylon made enough noise sliding down the hill. He left. Unbelievable. What a nice bear. It's been an exciting afternoon.
The next 3 days found the hunters stuck in camp. Rain and heavy clouds made hunting impossible, so there was not much to do but find ways to pass the time in camp. After reading every book and magazine from cover to cover, the hunters are getting a little stir-crazy.
American judges. Is it worth the silver or a gold?
This is we give up. Surrender. We surrender.
You know, this is one of the most comfortable wall tent camps I'd ever been in.
I gotta say, it's a picture when you guys shoot. That's pretty good.
If you're gonna get stuck in bad weather, it really pays to be in a big, comfortable camp.
That's better. Those are walks with Bob. Yep. Hey, we're rooting for you, Phil.
Put over the line.
Shoot some damn goats.
Well, when you're on camp, there wasn't any fishing to be done. We had no rods and reels, and I don't even know if they were fishing. Those were big, high mountain lakes, but we came up with a game. One of the guides called it the sock game, and he found 2 old pieces of plywood from the old camp, and they knocked a hole in the center of them and put them on rocks. And basically, we spent all afternoon tossing socks full of sand at those holes in the boards. And I got friends that have games they call washers that are real similar, but it was a pretty good way to pass the time, and man, did it get competitive.
No!
If you'd like to book a guided big game hunt like the one featured in this show, give Steve's Outdoor Adventures a call. The toll-free number and website address are listed on the screen. And Steve will personally help you book the hunting or fishing trip of a lifetime. For the past 3 days of Phil's hunt, rain and heavy fog had socked in the mountains, reducing visibility to 0. But finally, the skies cleared, allowing the hunters to resume their goat hunt in the mountains of British Columbia.
The next day, the weather cleared up just enough. We thought we'd get on top of the mountain and look for some goats. We made the short climb again and started spotting goats right away.
With 3 days wasted due to bad weather, Phil felt a sense of urgency to make up for lost time. But the mountains could care less. Pain is the price of admission to goat country.
Well, Bob said these goats are in a perfect spot for a stalk. We just have to wait for the fog to break a little bit more, and we're going to cut around. We're going to be right on top of them. When the fog breaks, we take our time, we get around, everything looks perfect.
After stalking a herd of goats for several hours, Phil and his guide are winded, and the herd spooks running out of bow range.
Well, we couldn't believe it. We'd spent a couple days trying to find a major group of goats, and everything looked so perfect, and how they got out from under us, we still don't know. All we can figure is they winded us, but they were just right there, and before I could get a shot, they slipped away. But Bob's always optimistic. He said they probably wouldn't go far, so we spent the next 20 or 30 minutes easing over, edge to edge, and they truly had left the country. You know, the one question I get most often on emails, Facebook, and even when I bump into people at the shows is what equipment I'm shooting the current year and why. And Matthews always makes a fantastic product, and they never built a bow that I didn't really enjoy shooting. But I'm really excited about this fall. They've got 2 new bows out, the Matthews Creed and the Matthews Chill. And I'm showing you the Chill here. It's a 2-cam bow. It's a offshoot of the Monster that I shot my biggest whitetail with a year or so ago. Super lightweight. It's a little bit faster than the Creed. So for hunting out west where I do, where you're hunting antelope, goats, sheep, elk, a little bit of chance for longer shots. It's super accurate at longer ranges. And I got it paired off with the Injection Easton shafts. They're a carbon shaft, small diameter, but with the new technology, they've got an insert instead of an outsert. It's called Deep 6, and it pairs off perfectly with this NAP kill zone. This combination creates super accuracy and the ultimate penetration of any hunting arrow I've ever shot. This year, I'm really recommending either the Chill or the Creed with the injection shafts, the NAP kill zone broadheads. You can't go wrong.
Many times, record book bucks cause you to stray off the grid where few weekend warriors care to go. Hunters like Pete Alfano knows the quest for the best requires supreme skill, dedication, and the best gear. The ScentLock Headhunter system answers the call by providing superior scent control technology that's ready for almost any situation. An advanced softshell resists weather and remains tough and quiet under the most extreme conditions, while articulated arms, shoulders, and knees allow for maximum range of movement when it's on the line. ScentLock. Taste victory.
Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by ScentLock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, and Mississippi. Find your true south. After several climbs throughout the week, fatigue was setting in, and every missed opportunity means more climbing and more pain. After locating the herd from across the canyon, Phil and his guide once again make the steep climb back to the top of the mountain. Phil was 7 days into his hunt, and time was running out, and so was the strength in his legs.
We spotted this big billy from a long ways away. He was bedded. We used the up thermals to make a circle, made the perfect stalk, and I came in right on top of it. Well, I was within 7 yards of the goat, and I must have grated a rock under my foot. The goat jumped up and took off. Didn't stop till he was 69 yards away. But I practiced that shot all the time, and I made the perfect shot.
Yards.
Oh yeah. He's down right there. Holy mother.
Right off. Good stock. All right.
Not hard to be happy.
Oh, right on, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Looks like a pretty good goat.
Tell you what, he's my first and only goat as hard as we've worked this week.
Yeah.
Gotta be 9 inches or better, huh?
Yeah, he's right around there. Pretty good for the last day.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
You can't believe how tough this has been.
Well, I think this is the best place in North America to book a mountain goat hunt. As a matter of fact, I've done it 2 more times with Bob. And you can actually tune in next week and see it in full high definition. So until next time, I'm your host, Phil Phillips, and always remember these 3 things. Be safe, practice good conservation, and always leave it better than you found it. We'll see you next time.
I'm a cowboy. I'm a worldwide cowboy. And there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, hoo, 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 hoo. I said, hoo, 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 hoo.
This has been a Steve's Outdoor Adventures production.